hiatus to break the habit of picking up her phone 50 times a day. The hiatus was a wonderful reset for her, and the benefits to her physical body were tremendous. But the fact that she needed to completely disconnect from the world to manage her health showed how fragile her condition remained years after her diagnosis. And in October 2021, Yolanda became the center of another massive scandal when she alleged that Zayn Malik struck her during a family dispute at his and Gigi's Pennsylvania home. According to court documents obtained by TMZ, the incident occurred on September 29, 2021, while Gigi was away in Paris. Court documents revealed that Zayn allegedly called Yolanda disturbing names and shoved her into a dresser, causing mental anguish and physical pain. He was also accused of telling her to stay away from his daughter. While Gigi was on the phone during the incident, Zayn allegedly told her to strap on some balls and defend your partner against your mother in my house. Zayn denied striking Yolanda, releasing a statement saying he adamantly denied the allegations and hoped Yolanda would reconsider her false allegations and move towards healing these family issues in private. However, he pleaded no contest to 4 criminal harassment charges against both Yolanda and Gigi. As a result, Zayn was sentenced to 360 days of probation, anger management classes, a domestic violence course, and was ordered to have no contact with Yolanda or the security guard present during the altercation. The incident ended Gigi and Zayn's relationship permanently. According to sources who spoke to TMZ, the altercation started because Yolanda barged into the house without calling beforehand or knocking on the door. Mook sources claimed Yolanda was acting like the house was hers and ignoring Zayn's role as Gigi's boyfriend and the father of their daughter Kai. This behavior pattern suggested Yolanda had boundary issues when it came to her daughter's lives. An insider told the US Sun that Yolanda and Zayn were like chalk and cheese, and they'd never seen eye to eye. Yolanda, who had always been involved in Gigi's modeling career, had urged Zayn to be more supportive of Gigi. The tension between them had apparently been building for years. Zayn felt disrespected in his own home, while Yolanda felt entitled to access her daughter and granddaughter whenever she wanted. The clash of perspectives led to a confrontation that destroyed their family dynamic. In 2023, when Zayn finally addressed the incident publicly on the Call Her Daddy podcast, he explained that he didn't want to bring attention to anything and wasn't trying to get into a negative back and forth with Yolanda. He wanted to protect his daughter from seeing negativity between them online. From chronic illness to marriage collapse, parenting scandals to family violence, Yolanda Hadid's downfall was devastating on every level. What started as a glamorous Beverly Hills life spiraled into years of pain, controversy, and loss. What's your take on her story? Comment below and subscribe for more reality TV deep dives. Advice was to have a couple of almonds and chew them really well. This moment became a meme and symbol of restrictive eating. Another clip showed Yolanda scolding Gigi after she ate a slice of her own birthday cake. She told Gigi she needed to stay on the skinnier side because in Paris and Milan, they like the girls just a tad on the skinny side. Yolanda explained that Gigi was in charge of her own diet. But to be at her best weight, she had to make the right choices. The videos gained traction again in 2022 when one TikTok specifically about Yolanda's parenting received 6 million views and over 700,000 likes. People accused her of promoting eating disorders and starving her daughters during their modeling careers. The consequences of Yolanda's parenting style became apparent when Bella Hadid opened up about her struggles. In a 2022 Vogue interview, Bella admitted to childhood trauma and discussed her battle with body image, calling herself the ugly sister. Bella revealed she'd struggled with anxiety and depression, keeping these issues compartmentalized from her modeling life. She also spoke about getting a nose job at just 14 years old and expressing regret that she didn't keep the nose of her ancestors. Many questioned why Yolanda would allow her daughter to have plastic surgery at such a young age. Critics pointed out that Yolanda had pushed Eurocentric beauty standards onto her children and attempted to erase their Middle Eastern features from their father, Muhammad Hadid's side. The pressure to conform to modeling industry standards started extremely young for both Gigi and Bella. Bella has been open about her struggles with what many believe could be disordered eating. Though she hasn't been clinically diagnosed publicly, fans have expressed concern that if Bella has an eating disorder, Yolanda and the critics of her body should be held accountable for their hurtful words and actions. Throughout her time on RHOBH, that Yolanda wasn't afraid to compare her daughters and their modeling careers on camera. She made it clear that Bella and Gigi had different looks and would book different types of jobs. In one particularly harsh moment, Yolanda told the cameras that if they're looking for an all-American girl, they're not going to hire Bella. She positioned Gigi as the more conventionally beautiful daughter while treating Bella as less desirable in the industry. Yolanda also admitted on camera that she was worried Gigi was a lesbian because she played volleyball with teammates who were big and bulky and they eat like men. She connected Gigi's sport choice with masculinity and seemed concerned about her daughter's sexuality based on her athletic pursuits. These comments created a golden child and black sheep dynamic between the sisters. Bella often looked like the outcast of the family, less worthy of love and attention. This type of behavior is classically associated with narcissistic parenting, where children are seen as tools for the parent's own success rather than individuals worthy of unconditional love. When Bella was 17, she was arrested for a DUI. Yolanda received a call from David Foster while on vacation with Kyle, informing her that Bella had been arrested. In her memoir, Yolanda described how she couldn't catch her breath and the adrenaline started rushing through her body like a train ran over her heart. Her greatest fear had always been losing one of her children in a car accident the way she lost her father. While she was devastated by Bella's choices, she was relieved Bella was safe. However, what happened next caused controversy. Nundell letter Yolanda wrote to Bella was leaked online, with many openly speculating that Yolanda herself leaked it to embarrass her daughter and set her straight. In the harsh letter, Yolanda wrote that Bella had literally turned into a spoiled, unthankful, unthoughtful, careless human being that was lucky to be alive. The public nature of the letter combined snorts with suspicions that Yolanda leaked it intentionally, showed a cruel parenting tactic. Instead of handling her daughter's mistake privately, it became fodder for public consumption and judgment. After Yolanda left RHOBH, her struggles continued. Following the loss of her mother, Yolanda really struggled with depression followed by a Lyme relapse. She revealed on Instagram that the emotional stress and grief strongly affected her immune system. No, the relapse reminded everyone that Lyme disease never goes away. Even when she was feeling better and doing well, stress could trigger symptoms to return. Losing her mother was devastating enough without dealing with her body breaking down again. Yolanda admitted her phone addiction didn't help either. It started taking so much time away from being present in her life. She realized people are slowly starting to lose the art of communication, and it's creating a deep loneliness within us. She took to social media. But when she got sick, things went down, and that's just part of life. When people are chronically ill, it strains the marriage. The nightmare got worse when Yolanda's children started showing symptoms. Her daughter Bella was diagnosed with Lyme disease, followed by her son, Anwar. Watching her babies suffer from the same disease that was destroying her life was torture. In her memoir, Yolanda described her reaction to seeing Anwar's positive test results. When she saw the pictures of the spirit on his lab results, her anxiety went from 1 to 100 in mere seconds. She felt a wave of helplessness wash over her and was completely pain-stricken. She questioned how this could be possible and wondered how she could cure Anwar if she couldn't cure herself. Once she got over the initial shock, she settled her thoughts and took control of the situation in good Capricorn fashion. As she wrote, Bella's diagnosis was equally devastating. Yolanda had 2 of her 3 children battling the same debilitating disease she was fighting. Gigi later told Ella that growing up with 3 family members sick made her very independent. Sometimes Yolanda wasn't capable of driving onward to school or making lunch, so Gigi had to take over as the older sister. In her desperation to get better, Yolanda underwent treatments that many medical professionals questioned. She documented trying every possible therapy over 5 years, both ones that helped and ones that didn't. I mean, some of these treatments were unconventional and raised eyebrows. In her memoir, Yolanda revealed she was treated with frog venom for Lyme disease. During a colonic procedure, she discovered her body had been invaded by parasites, particularly her intestines. A massive worm measuring around 16 in was removed at one stage. She also underwent a procedure called TVM, or transvascular autonomic modulation, which uses a catheter insertion into the jugular vein to relieve patients of debilitating symptoms including fatigue and brain fog. The intensity of her treatments showed how desperate she was to find relief. In 2019, Yolanda revealed on Instagram that she'd had breast implants removed along with all fillers, Botox, and extensions. She wrote about living in a body free of all the things she thought she needed to keep up with what society conditioned her to believe a sexy woman should look like. Admitting the toxicity of it all almost killed her. The reality of filming a television show while battling chronic illness was brutal. On many occasions, Yolanda barely had enough energy to get out of bed. Yet, she was expected to show up for shoots, events, and drama. During one magazine shoot at Kyle Richards' home, Yolanda recalls having a really bad day with that earth-pulling exhaustion where she couldn't even put one foot in front of the other. She needed the support of others just to function. Yet, her castmates showed little empathy for what she was going through. Her light sensitivity from Lyme was so severe that she couldn't even take her sunglasses off when sitting in living rooms with closed blinds. Yolanda stayed on the show longer than she should have because she kept hoping the next season would be better. She didn't understand that Lyme disease doesn't work that way. There's no cure for chronic Lyme and symptoms can flare at any time. She was setting herself up for failure by continuing to film. In her memoir, Yolanda revealed the darkest moments of her battle with Lyme disease. At her lowest point, she contemplated ending her life. She described herself as such a fighter, but she had to surrender. She wrote about asking God to just take her away in a wave because she couldn't live like that one more day. She wanted to disappear, to have her body carried away by the water. The pain and suffering had become unbearable. But then she had a clear image of her 3 children, and that thought shifted her consciousness immediately. That's the only thing that kept her from letting herself drift and drown. Her children, Bella, and Denoir, gave her hope when she had none left. They were her reason to keep fighting when the disease made life feel impossible. This revelation showed just how serious her condition was and how much she truly suffered, contradicting the claims that she was faking for attention. The fact that 2 of those 3 children were also diagnosed with Lyme disease made the situation even more complex and painful. Oh, she wasn't just fighting for herself anymore. She was fighting to be there for her sick children. Years after leaving RHOBH, old clips from the show resurfaced and went viral, causing massive backlash against Yolanda's parenting. In 2022, TikTok videos highlighting how she managed her daughter's diets garnered millions of views and sparked outrage. The most infamous clip showed Gigi calling her mother and telling her she felt faint with hunger after only eating half an almond. Yolanda's. She entered Beverly Hills as the elegant wife of music legend David Foster. But Yolanda Hadid's story took devastating turns. From battling a disease her castmates called fake to losing her marriage, facing parenting scandals, and getting caught in violent family drama, her downfall became more painful than anyone imagined. In 2012, during her first season on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Yolanda received a diagnosis that would define the rest of her time on the show and beyond. She was diagnosed with severe chronic neurological Lyme disease after an infection was discovered in her brain. What started as mysterious symptoms, including brain fog, extreme fatigue, muscle weakness, migraines, and anxiety, became a full-blown health crisis. Yolanda later revealed that she didn't know Lyme disease was a life sentence when she joined the show. She thought she'd be better by the next season, but more than a decade later, she's still struggling with it. The diagnosis came at the worst possible time. She was newly married to David Foster, had just joined a reality television show, and was watching her daughters launch their modeling careers. Instead of enjoying this golden period of her life, Yolanda found herself fighting for survival. She struggled every single day during filming. In interviews years later, she admitted she never worked with a full set of brains on the show. The cognitive effects of Lyme disease made it nearly impossible to keep up with the fast-paced drama and conversations. Yet, she stayed on, hoping each season would be better than the last. What made Yolanda's health crisis unbearable wasn't just the disease itself, but the fact that her own castmates questioned whether she was really sick. During season 6, Lisa Rinna suggested that Yolanda might have Munchausen syndrome, a psychological condition where someone pretends to be sick and ends up showing symptoms of the imagined illness. The accusation spread through the cast like wildfire. Other women started questioning the severity of Yolanda's condition. They analyzed her Instagram posts, wondering how she could look glam in photos if she was really that sick. They questioned her treatments, her doctors, and her entire journey. For someone genuinely fighting for their life, these accusations were devastating. Yolanda called the experience very hurtful, and not just to her, but to her children and family who loved her and knew she was fighting for her life. The betrayal cut deep because these were women she considered friends. Looking back in 2022, Yolanda said she could never return to RHOBH because of how she was treated. She's too sensitive now to deal with the back and forth between women. The Munchausen scandal left her with such a bad taste that she wants nothing to do with the franchise ever again. While Yolanda battled her illness and fought off accusations from castmates, her marriage to David Foster was crumbling behind the scenes. In her 2017 memoir, Believe Me, My Battle with the Invisible Disability of Lyme Disease, Yolanda revealed the cruel moment that ended everything. According to the book, David told Yolanda that her sick card was up. Amen. After having a front-row seat to her journey, watching her suffer through treatments and struggle daily, he accused her of using a sick card. Yolanda was devastated. She questioned who was influencing him and how he came up with such an unkind statement. She wrote that she didn't deserve that treatment and that if roles were reversed and David was sick, she would have stuck by him. The comment revealed just how much strain her illness had put on their marriage and how little patience David had left. Yolanda admitted that David became increasingly unhappy, that she was unable to be by his side as part of his high-profile lifestyle. He became impatient with her slow recovery. The man who had married her when she was healthy and glamorous couldn't handle having a chronically ill wife. Just weeks before what would have been their anniversary, David Foster ended the marriage during a tense phone call. Yolanda had encouraged him to tell her what was going on after sensing things were off. During that call, David told her it was over. The couple divorced in 2016 after 9 years together. David later told Entertainment Tonight that the marital problems weren't all due to Yolanda's Lyme disease, claiming they had some other issues as well, but the timing was impossible to ignore. Their relationship fell apart as her illness progressed. David admitted to the Los Angeles Times that being on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills was kind of a nightmare for him and something he really wished he hadn't been part of. The show put their private struggles on display for millions to judge. Yolanda later acknowledged on Watch What Happens Live that it's not unusual for a serious illness to put strain on a marriage. She said they had an incredible 7-year run.